This month, I've made more than 38K and I'm on track to making more than 40. Today, it's going to be a different video. Today, I'm going to show you how I managed to get to this level and what are the step-by-step that you need to take if you want to do exactly what I'm doing right now. Just to give you context about who I am. So if you haven't watched any of my videos, my name is Hamza. I'm an AI automation guy. I run an AI automation agency and we help marketing agencies and B2B services specifically to make a lot of money through AI. So we do an audit of a business. We see where's the problems, what are the bottlenecks, and then we implement AI to solve these bottlenecks and make them money. Or in some cases, save them time, which means make them money because they're going to be saving the money that otherwise they would be spending on payroll. Cool. Just to show you the numbers, by the way. So right now I have 21K, 21.526 in terms of recurring client pay me every month. Okay. So that's like MRR. I have 16,525 dollars in contracts that I signed this month. The way contracts usually work is you pay so for example, you pay 50% upfront and then 50% at the end of the month. So that's why when we say revenue, you usually do like the sum of this, but it's not cash collected, just so that we're clear. So for example, when I say 38K in cash collected, I do not mean in revenue, I don't mean cash collected. For cash collected this month, I've 27,453 $1,000. Cool. Okay. And we have 74% margin for this month, which is very good margins, to be honest. Just so that you know, right now, this is not all me. I have a co-founder that we're working at the same time on the project, and we have 2 developers working with us. So I started around June. I used to do affiliate marketing before, and I used to work with some big brands like, I'm not going to say the names, but some of the people that you may know. And I used to do video affiliate marketing. So we used to do video for them. And the hope is generate them money essentially through video. And that was a very, very hard business. It's a lot like it's commission based. It requires a lot of skill because for you to get viral on social media, it's super hard, to be honest. And that took me more than a year and a half. I was working that. At the end, I started to generate some money here and there, but nothing like crazy. It was, let's say, 1K here, 2K here, and that's about it. And then I switched to AI automation around June. So when I switched to AI automation, I was just watching videos, wasn't really doing anything wasn't very, very focused on it. And then I was just testing on my own, etc. And in September, that's where I joined a community called Maker School. So when you watch a lot of videos, you usually have a lot of ways to do things, which I think this huge amount of information will make it where you're less likely to succeed. In this day and age, like, you do not need information because otherwise everyone would be rich because we have AI with us. What you need is focused information. You need experience from other people. You need someone to guide you. And this is super big. Like, you can make it on your own without any mentor or any playbook or any person, but it's just going to take you longer and you need to understand that. So I joined Maker School. Essentially, it's a community that Nick Saraiv created. I have an affiliate link, but I'm not gonna put it just so that you I don't want to get anything from you guys. I'm just sharing with you my journey, so I'm not earning anything from this. So the next thing would be the climb. So on October, started to get my first client. Cool. So 3 small clients, I generated $959, and I lost a little bit more than that because of I was doing Upwork, so I was paying for Connect and all of that, which is just like tokens that makes it possible for you to apply to jobs. I was trying to do emails, so I was paying for all the tools. So I didn't really make any money, but yeah. And from October to January or to December, I started making a little bit more every month. So I don't have the exact numbers, but I think on November it was something like 2K or something like that. And then December was like 4K or 3K or something like that. In January, I quit my job and that was like a huge thing for me because I didn't have a lot of money in the bank. I wasn't making a lot more from my job. And so it was, to be honest, it was a big risk that I took. And the reason I quit it wasn't just like, oh, I'm starting to make money. I wanted to do it for like a long time, not because I didn't like the job, but because I wanted to do this full time. Because keep in mind, like, it was super hard for me to do both. I used to spend huge amounts of time. Like, for example, I work 10 hours at my job. I go back home. I'm tired, but I still have to need to do everything for AI. Sometimes I used to take sales calls at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. because of the time differences between France and the US. And in January, that's where I did my big break. I generated normally. I was super close to generating 20K in revenue. Again, revenue and not cash collected. And then I had some refunds to do. Then I had some other things, etc. And at the end, like, for example, I had a project where I was going to get paid, but the company did bankruptcy, or I don't know how you call it. And I didn't get paid for anything. So essentially cash collected for January, it was 7K, which is huge. Like, imagine I just quit my job. I'm like, okay, new, let's go. And what I'm going to be doing here. And then, yeah, it went good. So January to March, I did essentially stuck for 3 months. The reason is I stopped doing as much as I used to do for Upwork applications. And so naturally, I stopped growing. Super simple. And I was stuck there. I was super overwhelmed with fulfillment, etc. Around March, I went to another city and essentially I doubled down more. And that's where one client doubled it, where I made 13.2K in 1 month, which is crazy. In August, this month so far, we're at 27.5K in the bank. There's other things that happened before, like, for example, I have my partnership around June. That's where I partnered with my friend. Essentially, we both had AI automation businesses and we merged them together and we went from there. But yeah, in April, after April, like May, etc., it was kind of the same numbers. So it was around 13, 14K. So this is the journey. And I'm going to share with you, like, what did I learn? How can you do it exactly? First thing is sell first. There's no other first step. What do I mean by this? And this is the biggest lesson for me right now. Like, I didn't follow this, by the way, as much as I would love to. By the way, from April until July, almost, I wasn't doing outreach and I was still growing because of my existing clients or contract from before turned into a monthly retainer or something like that. So what I'm trying to say is if I didn't stop outreach, let's say throughout this whole process, I would be maybe around 50K or 100K per month. Like, you never know. And that's only because I stopped. And the reason you stop is because you think you don't have time and you believe it, which in some cases is true, but you need to create the time for it. Your business won't grow if you do not outreach. This is what they start with. And even before, like, not talking about, for example, you need to sell always. A lot of people will start creating something, like creating a demo or building something, right? And instead of just selling and then learning, I see this all the time. They're like, oh, I want to create this because I want to sell this project, or it doesn't work like that. You're going to learn by doing. Of course, you need a little bit of understanding about the project or like how the tools work, but that's about it. You do not need to know essentially that specific project or do that specific project, because everything is custom. So either way, you would have to do that for the first time in your life. Maybe you already created something similar, but it's not going to help you that much. The other thing is selling is not the opposite of caring. Like, a lot of time I've seen this where people they're like, okay, this is cool, but I want to do a good job at what I'm doing with my clients and this and that. Like, when we say to sell more, it doesn't mean that you should stop caring about the project and the client. Everything that you say and everything that you promise, because selling is just a promise to client, you should deliver on it 100%. Like, there's no doubt. And you need money to deliver on it, by the way. Like, business, the money is the oxygen of business. More sales means you can actually give more for the client. And essentially you can hire you can get better systems, you can start getting less overwhelmed essentially. So selling is the only thing that you, or like the main thing that you need to do in your business, right? And yeah, as I said, I stopped selling twice. I stopped selling around January to March, right? Because I was delivery was buried me, and that made it where I sat there. And from May to August, because I did it again, went delivery heavy, hired, optimized, stopped the front end, which is a problem. Like I thought I was doing the right decision at that moment, but to be honest, no. And the biggest thing I did is I wanted to start doing ads around May, right? And the problem, I was like, Upwork is not working for me, or like Upwork is very hard for me to productize. So let me do ads. And the problem, I stopped Upwork, which was generating money, and I started ads, which was losing me money because I'm still learning. And that's not a good combination, good match. Cool. And this is a big one, by the way. This is why, for example, people like Alex Hormozy, they say a lot that you need to like start selling to the rich. And I've seen this a lot of time. Like a client is not just a project, by the way. For example, 20K, in the beginning, I said yes to everything, like $4 client, a 387 client, a 455 client. And at that moment, that was a big money. I grew up in Morocco. $300 is like the minimum wage there. And you slowly get used to the numbers. And the problem is when you have a lot of clients, let's say there's every client is paying you 1K. And a lot of people will think that's a lot of that's a lot of money, 1K. 20, like you need 20 clients, meaning 20 people to update, 20 people to send messages to, 20 handoffs, 20 self goals, because they're going to need calls, 20 different projects that are super custom. Is just going to be a headache. So that's why, let's say you have one client at 20K, one relationship, one context, all of the same time. It makes things easier, right? Although there is a risk for this, like for example, if you lose this client, you lose your business. So you need to be careful with this. I have a client right now that is paying me 9K, and just being super transparent. So they're not like, they're struggling a little bit with business right now. So one of the first things he's going to be thinking about is either like churning, like stop working together, or reducing the retainer. So when you have like big clients or people that are paying you a lot, one, you need to make sure that the systems that you'll help them with are more like to make them more money. That's the main thing, because then they're like dependent on you, not in a bad way, but they need your help to get more clients. If you're only doing fulfillment automations, which is kind of what I'm doing, by the way, then you have this problem where they're gonna cut you off the first time. You like their flow and their inconsistency in getting clients, which is not a problem. Like any business, generally speaking, has that, especially in the beginning, is gonna feel like inconsistency in your business. So your business will grow and go down, etc. because of your clients, because the clients cannot pay you anymore in the same way. But this is just to show you how important it is to not necessarily just increase prices, but go after the bigger clients, right? Yeah, and why bigger clients are easier. So for example, one client doubled a month, and not because I charged more. So same clients, essentially we used to work with just on an hourly basis, very small, not very small, but then we switched to a fixed retainer, and that went from 6K to 13K, which is double the business, especially when you have a small business. Okay, and cool. So this is what I did as well. I automated the delivery as much as possible. Although, to be honest, like I'm still struggling with this because everything that we're doing is custom. So we do not have we do have an offer, but even the offer is like, the way we're going to be doing it will be custom. So I spent a lot of time on trying to automate, not necessarily the work itself, but everything around the work, right? Like the way we work, the way we do calls, the way, literally all of that. And a lot of it is automated right now, which make it where margins grew less people. Cool. So this is how I actually make my clients money, because if you want to make money, it's not just about, hey, by the way, you need to go sell, etc. First, you need to find the leak. You need to find the bottleneck. What is slow? What is stuck? Where the money already goes out. Why? Because if you start with this and you fix it, they will gonna have the money to keep paying you. That's the thing. The other thing is fix one thing. So the smallest system that closed that one leak, that like just the smallest thing, because a lot of time people try to like do big things, etc. Where it just doesn't work like that. The other thing is prove it in their numbers. So this is the biggest problem, by the way, that I have right now, is I cannot prove it because not in all of it. Like, for example, if they have 15 client, maybe 3 client or 4 client, I'm able to prove it because we talked about the numbers, what they're generating. But I'm struggling in terms of prove the numbers for every project that I work on, because then it's going to be harder for them to like leave because they see that you're making them money, right? And this is where I'm stuck right now. So I'm spread too thin. So every client is different industry with different systems. So even my automations are like all my automations are custom. We have 15 active client and almost no to look like, which is crazy. But essentially, the thing that I'm trying to do right now is more leads from ads. That's the main thing. We got one client from ads, which is a big client, and that is very cool. Like it showed us that it works. We can do this. We can generate money from ads, but we're still very like ads take a lot of money. Like just for testing, we're doing 3K in ads a month, and not even counting the other things that we're doing to generate leads and generate money in clients. So main thing we're trying is to productize. So the way to productize is so you use the clients that you have to pay for the more niche down clients or niche down offers. That's essentially what we're doing. That's why I'm still doing Upwork apps, so that I can get money, use that money, use it for ads, try to get people from ads. At a specific moment, we're gonna get a flow from ads that we do not need anything else, and that's where we're gonna be making the switch. And because Upwork, that's essentially where I'm getting people. It's super custom. Like it's very hard to productize there because usually people are solution aware. They already know what they want. They want an AI automation guy. They know their problems, and you cannot necessarily control. You're able to maybe select the people that you're going to reach out to, but then you're super limited in terms of how much money you can make because you're waiting for that specific ICP to post, and then you may just not get that specific job. So yeah, that's the main thing that I'm doing right now, and just being busy in love direct. And this is what I'm doing, like one kind of client. So we're going after marketing agencies that cannot take on more work. So people that are supply constrained, that's essentially the people that we helped. The other thing is we're systemizing delivery. So I'm on like to onboarding to shipped, I'm systemizing. I already started doing this for a long time. It takes a long time, especially when you have a lot of custom things, so that delivery is simple. And then sell again properly. So ads and Upwork every week, whatever delivery looks like, meaning you do not stop. Like I'm gonna if I have to stop doing other things in my life to keep selling, then I'm gonna do that instead of just, oh, I cannot deliver anymore, let me stop selling. So the goal for us is 33 clients, which is gonna be $100,000 per month. And yeah, that's essentially the goal. And we're very close. The goal is to hit this before the end of the year. So we're going to do everything in our capacity to reach that goal. Like whatever your dreams are, like whether it's 10K per month, 20K per month, 30, 100, whatever, you're going to reach it if you don't stop. I've been trying to do this for 7 years, just so that you know. I've tried a lot of side hustles. I wasn't very consistent. I was skill hopping or niche hopping or whatever. And all the skill hopping that I did or changing the hustles, etc., helped me in some way because it made me where I know a little bit more. And every time I skill stack, so I know more and more and more. Like that's why, for example, right now I can help marketing agencies because I did some form of marketing. Stick with it for a year. If you do a year and you're consistent in inputs, you're gonna get there. Inputs would be a number of especially outreach. So if you're doing Upwork, do 10 a day. Like stick with that and you're 100% gonna make it. If it's like ads, do 100 minutes a day of creating ads, etc. Or spend $100 a day, and every day you keep improving, I can guarantee you the results. Like, I have $0. So that you have zero excuses. If I can make it, you can make it. And just so that you know, I'm not like, I don't think about myself as I made it in any shape or form. Like, I don't care. These are just numbers. I have my reasons why I want to be rich. It's mainly for my family. And for me, like, this is just the beginning. My goal is to hit more and more and more and more. Is to go after the 100K, a million a month, etc. If you have any question, if you need help with anything, let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and thank you for your time, and see you soon.